Hello and welcome to the channel. Let's get right to the point. In this video, I wanted to basically express my situation when I was much younger as a kid in high school. I suffered from a lot of anxiety as well as insomnia, which let me tell you does not go well together. Basically, the two things kind of compounding each other and just made sleeping very hard for myself. But I mean, thinking back, there were some positives. Like I was able to discover shows like David Letterman and The Tonight Show. So I could thank insomnia for that, and I'm sure millions of other people else out there could say the same. But besides that, it was pretty rough because I would end up going to sleep pretty late, then having to wake up to go to school, and at the time my mom would be a struggle to get me out of bed. Oh, those were the days, as they say. But so that's when I started doing a lot of research. Now, thankfully, I've always been a person who likes to read and to learn, not just do something or take something, but actually learn what it does and what it does to my system, my biology, and so I've learned plenty over the years. Now, this is where hypnosis comes into the picture, because one of the first things I learned under self therapy was hypnosis. Now, doesn't make a difference if you're getting it from a hypnotherapist or you're doing it yourself, which is self hypnosis. So in my situation, I never actually went to a therapist. I learned it on my own. It took I'll tell you now, it took much longer. It took a lot of trial and error, but eventually I got there. And another question people have that's very popular within hypnosis is, how do you know when you're hypnotized? That's a very good question. So I'll answer that in another video. But going back to what I was saying, it took me a long time until I felt like I was actually hypnotized or able to go into a trance. And then from once I hit that point, then it just started compounding itself, rolling down the hill, and it was easier and easier and easier to get to that point. And then that's also when I started utilizing something called an anchor, which I'll explain in other videos. But basically, it's something that you pre-program yourself to, so that when you do it, you enter a certain state quicker. And in my case, I had an anchor to relax myself, to lower the anxiety levels, and also just a general relaxation. So once you can say, program myself to react to that anchor, I was able to start using it to physically relax during the day. If I was having a bad moment, anxiety attack, a panic attack, I guess. I used to get somewhat panic attacks. Thankfully, they weren't as bad as other people. I was able to use it throughout the day. And just like a natural calm will come over me. And I was able to just let things pass, or at least let things be not as bad. And then, and that was at a day-to-day, high school thing. And then, funny enough, in high school, I was actually quite liked by a lot of people. So I wasn't like bullied or anything like that. I was just, when I was much younger, it was easy to make me stressed out. I just got stressed, and a lot of times I took things way too personal within myself, whether it be a job or this or that or work, or I think, and I still do it to this day to a certain degree. I take things very personal, and in the sense I put too much pressure on myself, and then it gets to you. There's only so much pressure until things blow up. So I will use it. So now, in terms of sleeping, the anchor point was really good because I would I would tend to meditate at night, right before going to sleep, which is not really recommended because you have to remember something. Hypnosis is not sleeping. You're not actually sleeping. You're in a very deep, controlled state of relaxation, the trance. So you're not sleeping and you don't want to fall asleep. But what I did was I was able to train myself so I could do some hypnosis, some meditation, and then fall asleep. So it was a whole process. But it started working for me because, funny enough, doing the whole process kind of tired me out to the point where then I would just fall asleep. So it would work out for me. I would do a little hypnosis work, self hypnosis, and then go through a countdown and relax every part of my body, and then do that maybe 15 or 20 minutes. Then after that, an additional 15, 25 minutes of just pure meditation, which is a different thing. However, it involves relaxation as well, deep relaxation. And then I would finally be tired and be able to fall asleep. And even though I would still go to sleep later than I wanted to, it was much earlier than times I used to fall asleep before. And I felt it had an overall healthy impact on me, on my whole life, from the moment I woke up to the moment I would fall asleep. I would definitely, most definitely recommend hypnosis to anybody suffering from anxiety, from relaxation difficulties, stress. Now, however, if you definitely have a problem, it would be in conjunction with other therapies. For sure, I am not a doctor and I'm not making any recommendations. I'm simply stating what worked for me. And at the time, and still, off and on, I still use hypnosis. The thing about hypnosis is, in case you're not familiar, you have to keep doing it, at least for a certain amount of time. Hypnosis does not work like one session and you're good to go. It doesn't work like that. At best, you have to take multiple sessions, and then hopefully what you learn ingrains itself into your subconscious mind. And like any good therapy, really, if you think about it, after a while, sometimes you need more treatments, you need more visitations. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. That's the way it goes. The human body has a tendency to always fall back to what it's known, what makes it feel comfortable, what makes it feel the safest, and sometimes people have a tendency to fall back on older behaviors. So you have to go out there and reinforce these new policies that you've learned, and that requires sometimes another visit to the hypnotist. But that's just up to you. You know what works best for you. Like I said, I finally, after a while, learned self hypnosis, so I was able to do it myself, and I continue to. And what else? So I would say, in summary, if I was to, if somebody was to ask me, do you recommend hypnosis? Absolutely. Um, do you recommend I go to a hypnotherapist? Yeah, probably so. It's as long as actually a lot of insurance companies cover that these days, and if it does, most definitely. But if you're like me and you want to be, I always try to be self-sufficient, so I don't have to count on other people. Then I would start learning self-hypnosis, or do both. In my case, I just learned on my own, but if you can do both, that would be great. Take a few sessions, get the feel for it, learn from the hypnotherapist, and then from there move on and start doing hypnosis on your own. Nothing better than being self reliable and taking care of business yourself.